All right, I'm live. I think I'm live. Let me close over here. I think so. Adriana's not here yet. If you're here in the chat, thank you. Welcome. It's not even like 10 o'clock yet, so we're just going to wait for people to get here, and we'll like officially start at 10 o'clock. So if you're already here, just hang out with me. We'll do like jazz hands or something. I don't know. Oh, I could start drinking my wine ahead of time. Waiting for people to show up, including Adriana. She like messaged me on Facebook, and she's like, "I'm on my way," and traffic lights and blah blah blah. Whatever. I'm judging you, Adriana, live on YouTube right now, and I may just finish off the rest of this dark video from last week. So I am going to sit here and wait for Adriana. That's it for my dark. I do have more, by the way. We're not done with wine. Like I just started on the live stream. Oh, Zadel's here. Hey, Zadel. Oh, did you have your test today? How did that go? We haven't even really started yet. So this is the pre-show chit chat. Did you have your graduation? From anybody who's watching this on playback, Zadel just graduated from farrier school. Also, if you're watching this on the playback, this is a live stream, so it's not edited or anything. I just started, and my friend is coming over. Is it? Oh, it's 9:59. I may have to start without her. Hey, Liam, will you bring me that other bottle of wine? I'm making my 12-year-old son, be a waiter. It's almost time to start, and Adriana will be here. Will you bring me the other bottle of wine and listen for Adriana at the door, please?
Okay.
Just for a few minutes. She's going to be here in just a second.
Okay.
All right. All right. Is it 10 o'clock? Oh, I think she's knocking. Did she make it? It's 9:59. I'm already live, though. You missed the dramatic thumbnail.
I can't do a thumbnail without makeup.
You can sit here and do makeup. Zadel's here, and we're just like chatting before we technically start. Oh, it's 10 o'clock, so we have to technically start.
I have the magic drunkening liquid.
The magic drunkening liquid. Thank you, Liam. I'm finishing off the bottle from last week, and so this has been chilling. Brownies! Oh my gosh! I wish this was like Taste-O-Vision or whatever.
So if you were a hamburger.
Sweet. Ta-da! And look how cute it is. Yeah, so by the way, if you hadn't noticed how crazy we are already, hi, I'm Michelle.
I'm Adriana.
And this is our regular weekly live stream, and this one is Tack Chat Live, where we drink our wine and we clean our tack and we chat about the topic of the week. And this week it is, are horse people crazy? So, what now?
Nothing.
All right, so I'm going to open up the wine here in just a second. Oh, this one's not a screw top like the other one was. Wait, I'm prepared, though. Okay, so we're going to talk about are horse people crazy, and Zadel graduated from farrier school today, so I was asking him about that. I think he took a video, and he's going to post it in Extra Equestrians. So, welcome to the people. Or I might have to turn my phone down. Hang on. So tonight we're going to drink some wine, and look at my thumbnail. It says 5 people watching. Hey! It's probably Zadel and Rob. Yeah, Rob's here. Marika Zink. Where are you? That is 9:59. Oh, we're in Savannah, Georgia, on the east coast of the United States.
Sorry.
Child.
I'm usually better about this.
Oh, graduation is tomorrow. I thought it was today. Okay, congratulations. We're a little bit too early. We'll take it back. So yes, 9:59. It is 10 o'clock Eastern time on the Eastern United States. Where are you in the world? Let us know where you are, or not. I mean, if you don't want to disclose your location, I'm not judging you. I don't need to know you that well. I'm curious where people are watching from. So tonight we are discussing. It's like, is it something we say, or do people say it to us?
Yes.
Because we've had our share of like crazy horse people where we look at each other and we're like, this is why they say horse people are crazy. So like, who is they? Who is saying horse people are crazy? Have you gotten it your whole life?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be fair, I'm not normal. I mean,
Right. Well, I mean, obviously, if you're on this channel, you're probably not normal anyway. But like, even like regular equestrians are considered weird or crazy. And I just want to know, like, I want to explore that a little bit tonight. Is it because we are actually mentally ill? Is it because we are more prone to be addicts or alcoholics? Is it because we're daredevils, seen as daredevils because we ride 1,000-pound animals and control them with our butts and our fingers? You know, that's a little bit crazy. Or because we, like, horse girls will like shrug off. We get like a cut that needs stitches and we're like, no, I'm good. Let's finish the ride. Whereas normal people are like, oh, you need to go to the hospital. And you're like, no, I'm still riding.
yeah.
I mean, that's a little crazy. Or are we just like loony people? Are we drama queens, divas? Like all of us?
No, I don't.
I'm having trouble with I will get you some wine in a minute. What? Are you having trouble?
I'm having trouble.
You're not blending.
I was trying. I got something.
We need the camera more on you. Because you're very entertaining.
I am a mess right now. I am a hot mess.
I'm a mess too. I'm just wearing makeup already. You're in British Columbia in Canada. Okay.
Makeup, but I just.
So it's a more reasonable hour for you.
Smudged.
You are slightly, well, go for a smoky eye. That's the only way you can go at this point.
I don't even know what's happening. There we go.
So, well, speaking for myself, why am I having problems? I have anxiety disorder and I have depression. So I am literally crazy. Like I have a diagnosis in crazy, but I wasn't always anxiety. That's a more recent development, like as a kid, but I was still known as the crazy one when I was a kid.
I always had an anxiety disorder. I did not know that's what it was, but
I think mine started like more in high school, like the hormone. I think the hormones of puberty kicked off. It curled my hair, first of all. I had straight hair until puberty.
Oh.
Absolutely 100% straight. And then puberty, my hair curled up and I got loud and weird. So, but I mean, I was already a horse person. I've been a horse person. The first time I was on a horse, I wasn't even 2 years old.
Yeah.
It was a pony ride. So it's not like I was like doing hunts and all that stuff. I'm not one of those who's like, I've been riding forever. I got put on ponies. Okay. So here is your Artex glass. The glass that Adriana painted for me because I'm amazing. Also, she's amazing. Yay. Okay, so now we're drinking wine. I'm going to be cleaning my boots. We don't even have any tack out. I'm just drinking and hanging out, and Adriana's putting on her makeup.
Okay, I'm not even going to make excuses.
No, you don't have to.
Makeup.
We don't care. No one's judging. I don't see judgy comments. And if I do, we're going to delete them. All right, so I'm going to clean my boots. I've got my Ariats. They've been through 2 work shifts since I last cleaned them. And so I need to clean them off and soak them up and oil them and put some weatherproofing on them. And I have all that stuff right here. I was thinking about doing a tack chat where we just talk about like actual tack and tack cleaning.
Yeah.
Like how often you should do it and what products you should use and what's better and what's not. Why you should never put olive oil on your saddle. So your boots.
Because your friend Adriana will judge you.
I need another oil though. I'm almost out of mink oil. Okay. So, but I didn't want to do that tonight. I wanted to talk about how horse people are crazy. So if you are an equestrian in the chat, have you been called crazy? Or if you're not an equestrian, do you think we're weirdos? Like, honestly, do you see horse people and you're like, oh my God. Oh, bye, Marika. Oh, Brittany's here. Hi. Managed to sign into my YouTube account. Yay. Remember my password. Oh, yay. Okay. Oh, and I didn't even see that Kelly's here. Kelly, if you're still here, hey, girl, hey. Hey. I think Kelly might get called crazy quite a bit. She seems crazy. Yeah. I'm out of leather cleaner. I don't mean crazy like that. Kelly from Blue Raven Farms, who's in the Extra Equestrians group. She's got the big Clydesdales. She's also the one with all the matchy everything, where she's got yes, right. Where she's got like all the polos and the saddle pads and the everything that matches it. It's just to die for. Her collection.
My good eyeliner at home. So I have to use pencil.
I like pencil eyeliners.
I like my liquid felt something.
The felt tip ones always feel like they dry out on my eyeballs. Maybe I take too long. I don't know. I don't feel like my eyes look good with liquid eyeliner. I like a softer line. Okay, my boots. I'm first going to take a cotton cloth and I'm going to just dry brush all the literal crap off my boots.
Can we pick up my wine before you do that?
Yes, put it up on the thing. Oh, I should probably put my wine up too before I let little dry poop particles floating all around. Well, they were having tea.
They were having tea.
All right. I feel like my futon is sinking. I need to like put cushions on it to build it up.
I feel like we used to sit on cushions.
I do have pillows underneath our butts. Like I put pillows down here and I like want it to be like a couch. It's like a $99 Walmart futon, y'all. I live rough. Okay, so I'm brushing off my boots. Maybe that's another reason we're crazy is because we will live in poverty so that we can have horses. That's kind of nutty. My family doesn't understand. Honestly, they don't understand why I spend money on my horses. Like to have horses when that is hundreds of dollars a month that could go to my child or my life to enrich my life in other ways. And they think that's crazy. And honestly, that's kind of a fair assessment, but I don't know.
It's still cheaper than therapy.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I'm going to therapy tomorrow for like the first time in 10 years. Y'all cross your fingers for me. Say a prayer that I don't make her cry. But yeah, so okay. I'm just trying to get all the poop out. I'm making a nice little dry poop pile on the floor here.
It's better than the leather pant pile that I did a couple weeks ago.
Brittany says, am I crazy? Do people tell you you're crazy? In high school, I was the girl that would kind of take any dare, jump off things and, say crazy things and do nutty stuff to people. And so I got a reputation for being crazy. I was a crazy girl. And I was a horse girl. Oh.
I told you about the cat costume, right?
I think so. Remind me and other people.
Right after Batman Returns came out that summer, the entire summer I wore a Catwoman costume.
You were young though, weren't you?
I was in elementary school.
Okay.
But
I think I was in high school or college when that movie came out.
I'm not saying that wouldn't have happened if I were in high school either. Or college. I'm not going to discount that. But I also used to hiss at people. So, I think I was crazy before I realized I was a horse person.
Okay, so you came to horses a little bit later than I did.
Yeah,
they were like
the end of elementary
always
school.
A part of the landscape of my entire life. Now, as an adult, I've taken years off of having lessons and being around them due to finances and having a kid and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it started early. So I don't know. In my case, I don't know if I was crazy before. I feel like the horses came before the crazy in my case. And you feel like the crazy was always there?
Well, yeah, the crazy was definitely always there. In second grade? No, I was in third grade, but I should have been in second grade. I think that's what it was. I locked myself in the bathroom.
Oh.
And
accidentally or on purpose?
Well, I guess I didn't.
I'm asking for a confession live on
Didn't
YouTube.
want to go to class, or I don't know what it was, but I told them that the bathroom door was broken, and the headmaster came down and broke down the door.
You heard it live on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. What school was this? This wasn't in Savannah, was it?
No, this was not. It was Gibson Island Country School, which I don't think exists anymore.
Oh, I see. So you can't get in trouble. That's very convenient.
Statute of limitation.
That's very convenient.
I also just learned about strikes when I was in third grade, like actual
Strikes?
third grade, like strikes, like I guess the garbage men were having a strike or something. I don't know. But it was like, okay, if you don't want to do something, you all get together and don't do it, and then you have a list of demands. Well, I didn't really. It was very basically like, laid out for us in third grade. So I decided I wanted to go on strike, and I sat in my coat closet and would not come out of the coat closet. And my demands were coffee ice cream.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're crazy. Yeah. I wasn't crazy. When I was in elementary school, I was quiet and shy and sweet.
I cried a lot.
I'm not kidding. I did. I was daydreamed and read books. That was me. I was the quiet girl who daydreamed and read books. But I was also the crazy horse girl because I had all the posters on my wall and all the books.
Yeah.
And all I could talk about was horses, and I was obsessed with horses. I don't know. Oh, do we have any non-equestrians in the chat who just know crazy equestrian people? Like, what is your take on all this?
Like Rob?
People kind of does. Yeah, like Rob, are you still? Let's test Rob. Are you still listening? He's gonna pop up here like the smart aleck he is. Yes. You can't get me.
Yeah.
Crazy
I can
lady.
name at least one.
Now, we have known crazy horse people as well, like people who are just straight up, why are you like this? I don't want to mention names, but
I can't mention names.
No, I can't mention names either, but it's someone that...
Really well.
What?
She paid really well.
Oh, I don't know if I'm talking about her. I'm talking about the lady that I didn't know, but you and Chandra and Amy knew, and you would always talk about in the chat, and I'd be like, I'm so glad I don't know this person. I don't want to name names like live, but we would talk. She killed somebody's chicken. Like she stole things from people all the time. Do you know?
She faked her horse's death.
Did she?
I'm pretty sure. I don't understand.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I remember the chicken killing story. It's like the neighbor's chicken was bothering her, so she just went over and killed the chicken. And I'm like,
I mean, did she at least eat it?
I'm gonna pop you with the poop towel.
Well, I mean, if she was gonna go kill a chicken, she might as well eat it.
It was just insane. See, because I've had pet chickens, and if one of my neighbors just came over and straight up killed my chicken, I don't know what I'd do.
No, that's no.
Right. I know she was out in the country or whatever, but like these are crazy people. And if you're on any of the drama Facebook groups, like the horse Facebook groups, you'll find some real crazies in there. I lurk in a lot of them, and I don't get involved in any of I try not to get involved in any of the nastiness. But in some of those groups, it's like, ooh. I watch people, and I'm like, you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And they just say the weirdest things. They get mad about the weirdest things. I don't know.
My favorite is when somebody is complaining, like I think it happens in as an equestrian, I'm horrified.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody's like complaining about somebody and like telling us this outlandish story, and the person comes up and is like, actually, this is what happened.
Yeah. That group is not as much drama. The mods really try to not do drama in that group a lot, and I really appreciate that. There's some that encourage it. Are you in Equestrians Can't Handle the Truth?
Yes.
Whew! The people in there will get absolutely crazy pants. I will just sit back and watch some dumpster fires and watch people go for each other. And some of the things people say about their horses, about their neighbors, about each other. And I'm pretty good at picking up sarcasm over the internet. So a lot of stuff is sarcastic. But some people are... It's insane. So but are we crazier than normal people? Or are we just... Okay, here's a question. Are we crazier than regular people, or are we just crazy in such a different way that it becomes noticeable and obvious because of the horse thing?
I think it's kind of a different way because, I feel like, now you're going to laugh at me when I say this.
Soap.
And so maybe I should take a glass of wine.
Maybe.
Take a sip of wine.
I need to get more wine if you're going to do this. Okay, there we go. That's fine.
I'm just going to say that for me, I feel like I'm fairly well adjusted.
Yes.
Like, I don't,
From what I've seen, the kind of crazy that equestrians have kind of runs the gamut of all of the different kinds of it. I think we as a community have crazy people, just like every other group of people has. And there are sane people, just like every other group has. I don't know.
Like, because you look at these people who, like, decide to, I don't know, like, do crazy stuff, like, I don't know, driving without insurance and decide that they can't pay off their car, so they're going to try and, like, stage an accident, only they don't have insurance.
That's crazy.
Like, that's crazy.
That's crazy,
like,
crazy.
Or, like, people who, I saw a guy fighting with a trash can.
Downtown?
Yeah. And I couldn't tell if he was crazy or on drugs.
Well, sometimes both.
But, yeah, possibly
Why not both?
Why not both?
It is Savannah.
And, like,
we can be drunk and on drugs and crazy all at the same time.
It's like Come with the Wind on mescaline.
Yes.
They're all drunk and heavily armed.
That really is the best line. It's like Gone with the Wind on mescaline. Everybody's drunk and heavily armed. Dear God, we need to put that on the welcome sign to the city.
It's one of my favorite lines ever.
It really is.
I watched it the other day to get an idea for a toe tag.
We're talking about, if people don't know, it's Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. That's the movie, and it's a Savannah story. Anyway, but that was one of the lines in the movie. Sorry to interrupt. So you got to.
But I was watching it, and I had to write down all these lines because they've got some really good lines in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, the movie as a whole, I can't enjoy it too much because there's so many things that are, he's talking about Jones Street, but he's not on Jones Street,
Yes, when you know.
And it, like, turns things around, and
it changes a lot.
Monument.
It changes a lot from the book. Yeah, that kind of stuff annoys me too.
But it's got some really great
lines. Point is, read the book. Oh my God, wait, speaking of read the book, can I take a little segue just for a second because that's a little bit crazy? There was a stack of horse books that Amy, if you watch my videos, you might know Amy. She's the owner of Blue, the little miniature horse that I've done driving videos, and she's been in my videos before and on my Instagram. But if you know Amy, she gave me a stack of horse books when she was moving, and one of them was this Horseman's Encyclopedia, published in 1946.
Wow.
You would not believe the casual racism on every single page. I was so tempted to do a reading like tonight on a live stream.
I feel like we should have a tack chat after dark.
We should have a tack chat after dark. Just like some of the terms for things in here. And I'm like, just wow. Here's a section, the Arab and his horse. Like, I'm not even gonna go into any more of it. I meant to wait. Just read that sentence right there. So it's an actual encyclopedia. Right. It goes A to B. I'm on the B's right now. It's so exciting. I should do a video on this, like an equestrian book review. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so there's that. But then that reminded me, I was going to show you the bookmark I made.
Oh.
It's a unicorn. See, and the bookmark card is a tail. Yes, it's one of the shrinky dinks.
I found a bunch of shrinky dink paper.
Well, it's a little unicorn, and its tail is the bookmark.
I love that.
Right.
A very long tail.
Yes, it has a long tail because it's a bookmark unicorn.
I wasn't judging it for having a long tail.
All right, I am allowed to have a little bit more wine. I say allowed. A little bit. Okay, where's the cork? Okay, so there we were, a little segue off into adventures back in time, racism in the 1940s. It's just, I'm reading this on the way to bed last night. I'm like in bed last night reading, and I'm like, ooh.
That's yeah.
It's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, that's
Ooh, the devil's here, and he says it smells really bad down here. It's because we've been tooting on you. We're like, it's headed straight down. So, Rob Brown says I can name at least one. Oh, that equestrian is here. Hey, Kayla's here. Yay! It's talking trash and probably deserved
the
it.
trash can was.
Yeah. Brittany says, am I a crazy person from Norwood? I've done crazy things. You know what I mean? Yes, Brittany. Brittany, you are pretty crazy because Brittany's like the quiet one that will do something and it shocks you because you thought she was just shy and quiet and just being there. And then she'll do something nutty and you're like, oh, Britt. Bless you. I don't know if y'all heard that on the live stream, but in the other room, Scott just sneezed. Okay, so we are crazy people. I have cleaned all the horse poop off my boots, and I have I've cleaned them off with soap, and it's time to oil things up. Do you have something to clean?
I forgot my boots.
Oh my God! I don't know if I even have anything else either. Well, you know what?
I can keep doing my makeup.
We can very lovingly,
judge me.
No, we can. Here, you can very lovingly and slowly. We'll just really oil my boots so well. We'll get everything off my boots, and they'll be so clean. Here we go. She's like, no, really, I don't need that on my dress. All right. Zabel says he's nervous about tomorrow. Just keep breathing. Keep breathing. Oh, and by the way, this, speaking of art, my shirt, Unicorn and Centaur.
Yay!
This is actually, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's off center. And I'm so glad I ordered a sample. Because I got it and I was like, it looks off center. And it bothered me. And if somebody orders this and it's off center, it's going to be a problem. So I'm so glad I ordered a sample. I fixed it online. So if you go to my Etsy store and you want a Unicorn and Centaur shirt in whatever color, it has been fixed. It's not off center like this. But Adriana drew this. Ta-da! And she's also got t-shirts too. Cheval Noir Designs. I need to put links. Studios now. Sorry, yeah. It was Designs Forever.
It was, it's on the Teespring. It's
on the Teespring.
It's on the.
All right, I've got my boot. On the face. You sound like an old lady. It's on the Facebook. Okay. So, craziness. Now, another form of craziness that I think is in the equestrian community is addiction and alcoholism. You see this a lot, and it's not just rural people being drunk and cooking meth. No, it's also it's everybody.
There was a woman who used to have a barn around here, and for the life of me, I cannot remember her name.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember the name of the barn,
I cannot recall, officer.
I am not going to say it on air. I'll tell you after the show. And
I could probably take 3 guesses.
So I went out and I took a lesson. I called her up. This is when I was looking to move from SCAD, 2002.
Right.
So I called her up. I looked it up in the phone book because it was that time.
That long ago.
I called her up and she said, "Okay, well, if you board with me, you need to take lessons from me." And I said, "Well, okay," because I was, 19 years old.
Right.
And she said, "Well, why don't you come out and take a lesson, and you'll see, if you like the barn, like my style."
Right.
I was like, "Okay, so I can't
Sounds
get out
reasonable.
there." She was nowhere to be seen.
Okay.
Finally, an ancient man in a cavalry uniform with an eye patch walks out.
Mad-Eye Moody?
He looked like Mad-Eye Moody. But this is before I'd actually read, the Harry Potter, before all of them were out.
So it could have been the real Mad-Eye Moody.
It could have been the real Mad-Eye. He didn't have a wooden leg, though.
Oh.
But he had, the poofy hipped breeches.
Oh, yeah, those kind of jodhpurs.
Yeah. And he was very, he's a military man, and he gave me a lesson on this horse. And
Was that the person you were supposed to meet, or that
No.
was somebody else?
he had shown up for her because she called him, and she didn't call me. She called him.
So she called this weird cowboy pirate,
Uh,
or like less old-timey, time-traveling cavalryman?
Yes.
Wow.
And so he gave me this lesson, and we were jumping, and he said, "Oh, that's the first time this horse has done anything besides a cross rail." I was like, "You don't know me."
Were you on
and
your horse?
No.
Oh.
I was on some random little 4-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, she apparently used to try and trade like sex for vet services, and I mean, I don't think that it may have worked. I don't know.
This is nothing that ever occurs to me.
Right? No. And
How are people?
when she took kids to shows, she was always drunk. Like she'd have, a locker full of like empty liquor bottles.
She's like driving people's horses to shows drunk.
Well, like overnight shows. So maybe she wasn't driving drunk. She was just drinking.
Maybe. Is this Savannah we're talking about?
Fair enough.
That's very generous of you to assume she wasn't driving drunk. That is scary. I'm laughing, but y'all, that is scary. Wow.
She was a piece of work.
Now, we would joke about being alcoholics when we were at Norwood, because we would always go, I mean, there was always like a thing of Fireball somewhere around the barn.
Yeah.
And when we had like summer camp or the customers got crazy out at Norwood, we would all go and take like swings at the bottle of Fireball. So that does sound really alcoholic-y, doesn't it?
I remember Chandler popping up one day. I was feeding, and it was cold out, and she just, handed me a little shot of RumChata to put in my coffee.
Right. That's fun. Yes, the good coffee, having the good coffee. Hang on, I want to catch up in the chat. I made it to a state competition with my pony I rescued a year ago and trained from the ground up. So proud of him, everything he has come through. That's awesome. That takes a lot of work. Maybe we're crazy because of the amount of hours it takes that go into these horses that we love so much. Yeah. I mean, it's not a 5-minute hobby. It takes hours to prep and groom and work and clean tack and study your craft and take lessons and practice and do everything. It's insane. Love the draft horse one. I'm sure to get one. Oh, Hannah says her sis got a mini horse today. Cute! And hey, Hannah. Oh, Britt, if you've got to head to bed, that's cool. Minnie's name, Pistol Annie. The Minnie's name is Pistol Annie. Oh! I love it. Final Destiny says put on your flip-flop. Already, I'm way ahead of you.
I've got one flip-flop on.
Yeah, Adriana only has one flip-flop on. We're way ahead of you. Good night, Britt. This is Savannah. It was 100 degrees today. And no, I'm not. Actually, okay, maybe 98. Fine, it was 98. I'm exaggerating.
Today?
Yes.
Yes, it was. I was out in it.
Yes. All right, I need some more wine. Oh, I need some more wine. All right, so I'm getting my boots oiled. Oh, we're at the point where I'm forgetting what I've done. Like if I'm uneven, if I oiled one boot or two. I oiled this boot.
You've not oiled that one.
Okay.
Because we were going to do it lovingly, and I said I'd just drink wine.
That's fine. I will do the boot for you. Adriana's feeling sassy.
I'm also not liking how this is.
I know, that's what
I feel like forward. I want to lean forward.
I know. You know what? I need cushions for the back of this because it's, like I said earlier in the live stream, it's a $99 futon from Walmart. And I sit in it every day. Like I sit in it and I hang out here and I crochet and I do my stuff and I work online or whatever. And it just keeps going further and further back. I think that's what it is. So what if we just like scoot it back against the wall?
You're asking me a lot here. I did rugby yesterday and went to the gym this morning.
That's fine, then we don't have to scoot.
I live here, right here.
Aw, that's fine, then we don't have to scoot. We're done scooting. It probably would have been really like upsetting to watch anyway.
Yeah.
Us just kind of It probably was
We might
already
have gotten some
upsetting. I'm sorry. I
comments,
know. If you lost your lunch watching that just now, we just totally apologize. Unicorn and Centaur would like to take a moment to apologize to all our viewers. All right, I have another boot to oil, everyone. Speaking of crazy,
I almost
let them clap. Nikki, hey, I'm late, but I think I should get a pass since my birthday. Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you. You live in the zoo. Actually, it would be a barn. You look like a monkey and you smell like one too. Hey, are we going to get a copyright strike because that was the happy birthday tune? Oh my God, please. Oh, Hannah, gotta go. Just want to stop by and say, hey, thank you for coming by, Hannah. I love it when you are in the chat. We haven't seen Evie in the chat in a while, and she's one of our younger subscribers. So I think she might just be like in bed for school.
Yeah.
Because I think she's in the Eastern time zone. Anyway. So, all right, I have to continue drinking. I must continue drinking, and I have to continue oiling my boots. So yeah, well, we've talked about mental illness, and we've talked about alcoholism. What about the kind of crazy, like, I don't know. There's just something about horse girls, like not just the nerdy ones and not just the regular ones, but just like a willingness to do things that are maybe a bit out of your comfort zone. And I think that might translate into other areas of our lives.
Yeah.
And people think that's crazy. Does that make sense to anybody? Because, I mean, there is something about riding giant animals that you need to be a little bit crazy for, or have like be willing to do things that are crazy. It's scary being on the back of a horse and knowing you could fall, and you're gonna fall at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, the only people who have never fallen off a horse are the people who've only ridden like once or twice. Quit while they're ahead or whatever. But you're gonna fall at some point, and you know this every time you get up. Is this the time? Is this it? Is this the day I'm going to fall? So, that's why we wear helmets, and that's why we wear boots that are actually protective gear. They're not like, we don't wear our flip-flops and let them clap when we're riding. That's a good way to lose a foot or lose all the skin off the top of your foot at any rate. Oh, well, there's another way horse girls are crazy. Sometimes, like when we've got the ones of us who have backyard horses will do crazy things with the horses in their backyard. Like riding in bare feet with no helmet. And are you feeling personally attacked?
I don't do that anymore.
Okay, when I was 12, I had a horse and we boarded it at a stable nearby. And my sister and I always rode bareback. So like the whole year I was 12, I just rode bareback. And I mean, I cantered this stupid fat little horse all over the whole property. And looking back on it now, it was absolutely insane. But I don't know.
When you're 12, you don't think about that.
And you bounce when you hit the ground when you're 12.
That's true.
You don't have to like possibly go to the ER or the chiropractor when you're 12. You're like, ow, haha, let's go do it again. Well, okay, there's that. That's part of the craziness. When you fall off a horse, do you go, well, never doing that again? Or, woo, now I learned not to do that again. Let me get back on. Right?
Yeah.
So there's a difference. You fall off of a 1,200-pound running animal. What is your reaction? What are you looking at?
Who's Final Destiny?
Final Destiny? That was someone who was in here. That's the flip-flop person. Is this, I am old. Are these like lyrics to a song? Put on your flip-flops. Let them clap. High wedge sandals.
Maybe they're a foot person.
Maybe they are a foot person. Are you a foot person?
My Venmo is.
Oh, and hey, here's a foot with dried horse poop on the bottom of it. There you go.
My feet aren't special right now.
Nikki says, thanks, beautiful. Nikki, how crazy are you? Are you like what kind of crazy are you? And are you crazier than normal people? And have you heard your whole life, oh, horse girls are crazy? I say horse girls, but I mean horse people in general. We are known to be nutty. I have scratched up the side of this and I don't know how. And it's making me feel all of the sad feelings. I know, I don't like it.
So back when I was dating?
Yes.
I met this guy on one of the apps, and
already it sounds great.
Right? He's a really nice guy. It just wasn't
right.
It was not gonna work out.
All right.
And one of the first thing he asks me is, "Oh, you're a horse girl. Is it true that horse girls are crazy?" And I said, "Well,
that's his opener."
It was. I mean, we chatted a little bit beforehand. He, and I think he prefaced it with like, "Hey,
right.
I don't,
right.
Don't take this the wrong way, but this is what I've heard." And
don't take this the wrong way, but let me say something that you could absolutely take the wrong way.
Yeah. Like I said, nice guy.
Yeah.
But
okay.
And
what was your response?
I was like, I said I don't think I'm crazy. I said, well, maybe I'm a little bit crazy because I do, I do ride horses. I do spend a lot of time at the barn. I said, but I'm not gonna say I'm key your car, like torture motorcycle crazy.
No.
Like I'm like will be like pretty awkward in my life and get up at 4:30 in the morning to go to horse shows crazy. Like
that is pretty crazy. Like those of the equestrians who show, like if you do horse shows, you don't sleep. You take a nap and get up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, depending on how far away you have to go. Sometimes you have to go there the night before. But I mean, getting up at that hour is that's just stupid. Who does that on purpose and pays to do it, honestly?
So there's one trainer around that in the summertime, since it gets so hot here, she goes to bed early and she will get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and start riding her horses.
That is crazy, but also genius.
Yeah, she gets, like 8 horses ridden before like 10 o'clock in the morning.
I like that.
And she was looking for help a couple of years ago, like just, tacking horses. And I wasn't in a position where I could do it because of other work commitments. But she was like, I could use somebody. But
I'm trying to think, who's the craziest horse person you've ever, like, can we think of like someone who would win the trophy? Personally, if you in the chat, if you can think of an equestrian or a horse person of that absolutely takes the cake, like nominate them for this prize. We're about to have a vote. I just made that up, but
probably the person that either the woman who would try and pay for the farrier and vet services
that's
with her body.
That is pretty crazy. Or even stories you've heard online. That's a whole different category.
That's a whole different.
Okay,
category.
let's stick with who we personally know first.
I'd say the one that we were talking about in the woman who we will not name that you don't know.
The chicken lady.
Chicken
killing lady. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't even met her, and she's my number one.
Yeah. She's pretty insane.
I've known some crazy horse people.
Stolen horse.
The instructor I had in high school seemed crazy to me. That was at a German riding academy over in Zweibrücken, Germany. And it was a dressage riding thing. Like I did dressage. That was the first time I'd ever done English. I spent my whole childhood taking Western riding lessons. And I switched to English when I was in high school and bought the boots, bought the breeches, bought the helmet, had my dressage whip. I had everything. Went to these classes and the instructor was terrifying.
Well, German
yes.
dressage.
Well, it was a very stereotypical, like I lived with German neighbors. We didn't live on the American base. We lived on the German economy. And so we had all German neighbors. So I lived all around German people and they are very warm people. They are very, very personable people. They're very kind. And very generous people. I loved living in Germany. I loved these people. This guy was everything stereotypically negative about German people.
Well, the language is, even you can be saying beautiful things about somebody and it sounds angry.
It does sound very interesting. It's an interesting language to speak. It's a fun language to speak. But to be yelled at in it is terrifying, especially when you're 16 and your anxiety and depression is just starting to kind of emerge. So yeah, I would, and because like the lessons were in another language, these were not lessons. He just spoke not a word of English, not a word. So my first experience writing English as an American girl was in a 100% German speaking class. So I had to learn quickly. I had to learn I shut up. I listened. I learned what I was supposed to do. And this guy, if he gave an instruction and it was incorrect, he would scream at you for doing it incorrectly and talk down to you. And to do that while trying to control this horse. These were the nicest horses and most expensive horses I've ever ridden. Yeah. These were like school horses in Germany, but they were still like $50,000 horses easily. But my favorite was a horse named Oimel. He was a chestnut and he had he had 4 socks and a blaze. Mm-hmm. Very typical, but he was so like slow, so dead to the leg. Aww. So I'm not doing this today. He taught me so much. Oh, and speaking of casual racism, they had a horse named Sambo. That was the first horse that threw me off. Like, not that I fell off, but like did and then I did it over its back. But that instructor at that school was a little bit crazy. That was also the school, class. I don't know if it was the same instructor, but that was the same riding school. My sister broke her arm in class one day. Oh. Like her pony, a pony named Cognac, a little black, fuzzy, fat little pony named Cognac took off and rammed my sister against the wall, and she fell off and broke her arm against the wall. It was crazy. Wow. It was insane. And she didn't ride much after that. I think that did it for her. I think that was her. And we rode our whole lives together. Mm-hmm. But she was like, hey, maybe I'm going to take a break. Maybe I'm going to take a break. Because my sister is not quite as crazy as me. You know what? There we go. She found her line. Yeah. She was not quite. And me, no matter what I break, no matter how I fall off, no matter how it hurts. Yeah. I'm like, just, okay, how much downtime do I need before I can ride again? Yeah, that's another crazy thing equestrians do. If Kelly, I don't know if Kelly logged out a while ago, but she tore up her knee and we were having conversations about, waiting. She was so good waiting, how long she had to wait till her knee was healed before she was allowed to ride again. But there were all these jokes about how, equestrians can be in a full body cast and be like, I should be good to ride by Friday. The first riding injury I got, I was riding this pony named Porky. And he was a demon. I loved him naturally. Oh my gosh. He was one of those you couldn't catch because he'd run away from you. Like they had left him haltered in the field. They had a tiny little rope. Oh my god. But it was like this long that would just hang from his halter so you could grab him. But once you got him, you couldn't bridle him. Because he was such a turd about it. Mm-hmm. And he was a pony, Ponies are the devil. If the devil is still watching the live stream, which I don't even know, the ponies all come from hell. We know it. We're on to you. Mm-hmm. Like, don't even try it. He broke my mom's toe by standing on it and putting all of his weight on it. But I was riding the indoor ring, and I don't know if, the wind on the outside of the door, I don't know what happened. Yeah. He took off and he ducked and he tossed me. And he was not big. And I was too tall for him anyway, but he was not a large pony. So I fell off and I pulled a muscle in my shoulder. Rode the next day at a lesson. Oh my God. I couldn't lift my arm. I could barely trot. Because every time it would hurt so badly, but I was still going to ride in that lesson. That's hilarious. That sounds like me. Zadel says he misses riding. Aw. And he broke his right foot and took 2 days off, then back to shoeing horses. I remember that. I miss riding. You'll get back to it. We all take breaks at one time or another for whatever reason. There's and you chat about that. Yes, and yeah, he was probably there for that. And with all you've been doing with farrier school, that's a lot that's been on your plate. And it's all of that work is about to come together and move you forward. And that path forward hopefully can include some writing. So, hey, with a draft horse, because I know you love the drafts like we do. Who do you think? Okay, we talked about the craziest people we know, like in person, which I need to now waterproof my boots. It's time to waterproof my boots. We're getting towards the end of the Tack chat. What was I going to say? Oh, the craziest person online. Your nominations for the craziest horse person, the craziest story that you've seen online. My vote is High Caliber.
Ooh, yeah, that's pretty insane.
Because they started out great. High Caliber, look it up, Google it if you haven't. They were a horse rescue that started out looking kind of legit, and they were hilarious people, but it ended up being a total poop show. And yeah, did you ever watch the video of when they got kicked out of the property that they were renting from someone? They were renting a property to rescue all these horses on, and the people like kicked them out. And it was just, the guy was like live on Facebook showing this. The property was like gross. There were like dead horses and trash and like the whole landscaping, everything was brown. And the guy was like, this used to be like green. There were trees here. All the trees had like been uprooted and everything. There was like tack and old feed and garbage. Everything was broken. Like there were stone things on the property that were broken. And this was supposedly a horse rescue. And they were using funds that they collected from people to like fund their lifestyle apparently, and they were just getting donations to get horses out of kill pens, supposedly to rehabilitate and adopt, but they were just like shooting them and going to get their nails done or whatever. Anyway, it was like a whole saga, and I was following all of it, I think in Horrible Horsemanship, in a couple of the drama groups online. But that lady, I was like, wow.
And aren't they still, they're operating under another name now, aren't they?
Go big or go home. Yes, Adel. I don't know. I saw a post recently that had surfaced that that people were saying, hey, I think she's trying again.
Yes, I think I saw that as well.
Like, hey, she's at it again. But that to me shows a level of crazy that I can see how things would get out of hand. I can see how things would go further than you thought they would, but just the things that they were talking about, it's just the things I saw in the videos, it was just crazy. That's my vote for craziest horse person I've seen online. Oh, runner up, this lady lately, do you remember the floods that they just had in Houston? Mm-hmm. You know, Houston just had some major floods from Tropical Storm Imelda, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, I'm not looking it up right now. But there was all this dramatic footage of these horses being rescued from floodwaters. And everyone was like, oh, it's so heartwarming. It's so great. This is so amazing that these volunteers are saving this lady's horses. And then these stories started coming out where that, wait a minute, this lady's been here for 20 years. And she's been told to move for 20 years. And it's flooded for 20 years. And people have been rescuing her horses for 20 years. And they've been dying. Every single time there's a flood, some of the horses die. And she won't move. And she's on this land that floods every time there's a rainstorm. And so then when there's the big floods, so there was this big drama. I haven't looked into it anymore, but I want to go and look back at it now. And again, I can understand getting into a situation that gets worse every year, because 20 years ago it wasn't really that floody in Houston. It is now. So I don't know. So there's like some backlash to her behavior, and I'm not sure how actually crazy that lady is, but she's on my radar right now with the High Caliber lady. What crazy stories online?
I remember seeing somebody online who posted videos of them riding through floodwater.
On purpose? I think I saw that. Wasn't that last year or the year before?
I think it was on Horrible Horse. No, it wasn't on Horrible.
I don't know.
I don't remember where it was, but
somebody posted somewhere, and they were like talking about how easy it was, and how I remember that.
Yeah. And
how it was no big deal, and how people were making a big deal out of nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you sure? That is pretty nutty. I'm trying to think of other things I've seen lately that I'm like, wow, horse people are crazy. Jake Nodar is crazy, but in the good way.
Yeah.
There's a good kind of crazy. If you're not following Jake Nodar, Nodar, on Facebook and Instagram, then I'm judging you. Because he is fabulous and extra, and he is absolutely insane. Okay.
I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm trying to think of other the crazy. I feel like there was something like a sale horse that went. The lady had a fit because she sold it to somebody else.
There are all kinds of those stories online.
Yeah.
I feel like those kind of crazy horse people are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
The ones who go back on their word and are crazy about things and are vague and then change their mind or whatever. There's a lot of those stories that I see posted online. And now I've gotten to where now I just keep scrolling. I'm like, typical, boring. I'm so jaded by the internet. I see these stories now and I'm like, boring, get a real story. Move along.
And then, of course, there are the people who, like, you know, have barns and collect their horses and, you know, will use them in lessons, but they're all, like, just kind of off. Like, they have some really questionable methods.
Oh, crazy people who they're just not all there.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, there's actually a lot of those horse people where you talk to them for 5 minutes and you're like, cuckoo.
Oh, yeah, my horse looks so good. And I'm like, man, you can see his backbone.
Yeah.
Like, and count each rib. Like,
and they'll say things and you're like, well, huh? And nothing makes sense. I'm almost done with these boots. I have been very lovingly oiling and waterproofing my boots. My beautiful Ariats.
I am mentally cleaning my tack.
I am mentally not judging you.
I brought my cleaning stuff, my tack cleaning stuff.
That's amazing. You're amazing.
And I left my boots at home.
You're a beautiful person.
I looked at them.
Well, I almost forgot to bring them in from the front room today, but look how pretty they are. If you were here at the beginning of the live stream and you saw how poopy and ugly my boots are, look how pretty they are. Da, 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 da. I'm doing a dance with my clean boots. Yeah! I haven't even been wearing these to ride in because here's how crazy I am. I don't even wear my boots to ride. I have hardly ridden all summer long, and when I do ride, it's like riding Sunny bareback for 30 minutes. So I've just been, and I've had plantar fasciitis in my left foot, which has been so much fun. So I just wear tennis shoes to the barn. I'm wearing like my running shoes to the barn.
And that's gonna be you don't have to.
These
you
have
drive
been
the
doing
private, right? You mostly drive the private.
Mostly drive the private.
Okay, that's good.
I do public tours. So yeah, I've been wearing these to work to do carriage tours, and that's where they've been getting most of their yuckadoo-ness. Why don't I put the cap on what's left of the oil before we have an accident? Of course, it's a good idea. Final Destiny. You can, Marika says, I'm back. English or Western? We were discussing earlier, and Marika, I hope I'm saying your name right. Please, my apologies if I'm butchering that. I grew up as a child in the 70s and the 80s writing Western, and then I switched over to English when I was a teenager in the 80s. But now I ride mostly English or bareback.
I mostly ride English. I grew up doing like local hunter stuff. Yeah. But basically anything that would get me on top of a horse or a horse between me and the ground.
Yes.
So if I had to ride in a Western saddle on the trails, I'd ride in a Western saddle on the trails.
Yes.
I complained about it because I would rather be riding English. But...
Yeah, that was like, I think when I was in middle school, mostly there was a place that rented horses. This was back when you could like go to a place and just rent a horse and ride around on the party.
That's crazy.
I know that is crazy, but that actually happened. So we had these.
My barn growing up would do that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was always Western saddles that they had. And so that's what I rode in. And then I would take lessons and they would always be Western. Lessons used to be crazier. Let's talk about crazy horse people. I think I've talked about this before in the live stream, but I remember very distinctly, this was sometimes second or third grade. So I was 7 or 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a barn we went to and I took lessons at, and they were group lessons, and it was a pony. And I can remember taking these lessons because they would make you carry your own saddle and to tack up and do everything yourself. Every time when I was grooming, they would tell me I wasn't doing it hard enough. I would go home with aching shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I had to carry my own tack, and carrying a Western saddle when you're 7 or 8 years old is so already, and no helmets ever. I did not wear a helmet until I was 16 years old. And I have been riding, I've been on horses since before too, but that was the only time I've worn a helmet. So these lessons when I was 7 or 8, Western saddle, no helmet, 5 to 8 children in the arena at the same time riding ponies, not large horses. We're all riding ponies from the devil.
Yeah.
So we're all riding around the arena and we're practicing the emergency dismount. First at standstill, we did it all, and we did this. We had a day where we just did emergency dismounts, where we would just fall off our horses. And then we'd go and everybody would walk. And then we'd do it at the walk. And we'd do it a couple of times. And then everyone would start trotting. And we'd do it at the trot. And my favorite, of course, was when we cantered. And this was an actual, honest to God lesson. See, I was 7 or 8 years old. So this was about 1979 or 1980. 1979 or 1980. There's an arena full of feral children on ponies. And we're all cantering in a big circle. And the instructor in the arena shouts, "Emergency dismount!" And we all just fling ourselves off these horses. No helmets. Just praying to Jesus that we land fine. And you got to tuck and roll and do your thing. That's kind of crazy. And to me, that was great. Now thinking about it, I'm dying. I would never let my son do a lesson like this ever without a helmet. Ever. But thinking back on it, all I can remember was how happy I was.
Well, I mean, I always would make people emergency dismount. I never made them do it at the canter, but walk and trot, I always made my students do that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's funny. I remember doing it at the canter and being like, yeah!
I was never taught how to do it. I was never taught how to do a pulley rein either until
I was taught that too. Okay, to be fair, the craziness I'm talking about are safety lessons.
Yeah,
they're teaching you how to, the emergency dismount is for when your horse is bolting toward the cliff or whatever, and you can't get off and you can't stop them in any way. I also learned about pulley rein, one rein stop. They did teach us all this stuff.
Yeah.
But to teach the things, you have to put the kid in the dangerous situation and tell them, all right, now do the thing that saves your life.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's what they did. Here you go. Here's what you do when you're in a dangerous situation. Okay, go do the dangerous thing and then survive.
Yeah.
That is just absolutely nutty. The people would be sued in 5 seconds nowadays if they did a lesson like that.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
My barn we'd go to auctions Friday night, get horses, and the auctions would last late into the night. The horses wouldn't start going through till 7 or 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then, if there was a couple hundred horses, they'd be done around midnight or 1.
Right, yeah.
That's
crazy.
And we, the horses would get back at, whatever o'clock in the morning. They'd drive them back. It was a couple hours away.
Yeah.
And, we'd ride them in lessons the next morning, 8 o'clock the next morning. We didn't know the horses.
Crazy.
We didn't know how they were.
Who made that decision? That is nuts.
They let the kids choose.
That is nuts.
Yep.
So you're just choosing the cutest or the prettiest or the whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. We were like,
wow.
We're going to ride this horse, and this horse.
All right. Well, look, it is 11 o'clock now. My boots are complete. Yes, my boots are completely weatherproofed and ready for my next work shift or ride if I ride that way. You have your makeup on and you look cute now.
Now it's time to go home and take it off and go to bed.
Shit! We don't talk about that. That's the after. So we have discussed all the different ways that equestrians are crazy. I think mostly we are not. My final thoughts. I don't think we're crazier per capita. Is that what I want to say? Than most other groups of people. Yeah. I just think because we work with giant, mysterious to others animals, it seems like we're crazier.
Yeah. Okay.
So like the element of being an equestrian amplifies whatever crazy we already personally are. That's my theory.
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna make a parallel to rugby here, because like I see a lot of the same things, like, oh, you do that, you're crazy.
Yeah.
No, you learn how to do it safely. I mean, no counting for my knees going into it, but whatever.
Right. Well, we're still doing things that are dangerous. There are safer ways to do them. But
I mean, I'm driving my car.
Exactly. Well, that's what I tell people. I'm more likely to die in my car on any given day than on a horse accident of some kind. Yeah. Like horse accidents that are like deadly or fatal are actually very rare compared to other kinds of accidents.
Yeah.
It's not like horse accidents are like in the top 5 ways people die in the United States,
Yeah.
You have more to worry about from cholesterol than you do from horses.
From walking downtown Savannah.
Oh, right. Yeah. There you go.
With the cat buses and,
Anyway,
other things.
So our point is, if you think equestrians are crazier than other people, well, we think you're wrong. We just think you think that because there's horses. We're blaming the horses. The horses are taking full blown. Thank you, everybody who showed up at the chat tonight. We're going to cut it off for now and say goodnight. So everybody who joined us tonight, thank you to all the new people and thank you to all the regulars. We love you so much, and I will see you next Wednesday for the crafting live stream. All right, bye.